Oh, man.
Hey, old man on the Mat crew. This is Tony Jones coming at you with a great episode. I should say another great episode of Old Man on the Mat. Guys, it's another blessed day. I'm excited, as I always say. Another great day. Once again, thank you guys for all your support on everything we do, all the platforms out there. You can find us everywhere. Wherever you get your podcast, we're there. Thank you for all the merch flying off the shelves. Appreciate you more than you know. But I'm excited, guys, to jump into the podcast today. We have a great guest. I'm excited for this guy coming on. He is the original Tappy Tappy. He is a chief instructor out there in Riverside, California. He's a chief instructor at Filipino Martial Arts School out there. The guy knows his stuff. The guy's legit as they come. I tried to get this guy on for a little bit. We've been bouncing around. I am stoked. But with that, brother, how are you doing today, Francis?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you. My goodness, what a wonderful introduction. I appreciate it.
Hey, I don't blow sunshine. I tell it and I speak it where it is, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I hope everybody's doing well. Whoever's listening, thank you so very much for inviting me to this podcast. I'm really excited about it.
Hey, man, I'm glad you are, man. Because I tell you, I know we were bouncing back and forth on times
Right.
and everything. Because you're out there in California dealing with all the stuff out there, man. How is
Yeah,
everything out there?
so quite frankly, this was like the busiest January I've ever had in a long time. We had so at the beginning of January, Los Angeles was on fire.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Even though I live an hour and a half away from there, we were also still affected when Southern California Edison would purposely turn off the power so that
Wow.
it could prevent more forest fires, which I understood, but it also prevented us. They also turned off the cell phone towers. So
Really?
yeah, because there was no power going into the cell phone towers, right? So like I said, that was it was. But I also live with my 78-year-old mother,
Yeah.
and I have to, just like everybody, we all have to work, and so I couldn't leave my mom alone because what if she needed help? She can't call anybody. So that was an
Yeah.
issue. So for like 4 nights, we were bouncing around. Like I would take her to my niece's place, and then I would sleep at the studio. Then we stayed at
Oh
my aunt and
man.
uncle's house because where my niece was living, they turned off their power there too. So so it's just kind of bouncing around. And at the same time, we had to move out of our old house on the by January 18th and move into our new house. So we were
Holy
moving
cow.
all at the same time. So the 4 days that we couldn't be at our house was 4 days of packing and organizing that we lost, right?
Wow.
And so so it just and then I had the last bus stone standing challenge on the 18th of January. That was the day that we were all moving, but I had that
Oh,
planned for months in advance. And then this past weekend we just had the Riverside Lunar Festival, the Year of the Snake. We did that for this
oh
weekend.
man. Is that Filipino thing or all
No,
California thing?
no, well, no, that's a Chinese New Year,
Oh, okay.
and
Gotcha. Gotcha.
but the city of Riverside throws this event, and the company called California Festival, I'm sorry, California Cultural Festival, the one that's hosting this event, and with in conjunction with the city of Riverside, they always invite us, and we went this year, but yeah, it's just been
Man,
kind of hectic, crazy. This January has been bananas.
brother,
So
you
and
are
then
busy.
And then at the same time, we're also getting ready for the upcoming Got Stick tournament in Las Vegas, which is on March 8th.
Oh
So
man.
training, we're working, we're growing, we're moving, we're we're trying to survive, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna hit January strong, and I'm like, yeah, no, I think January is hitting me stronger, right? So.
Wow. So you hit this new year off running. That's what you're doing, brother.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But we're very blessed. We found a new home. We actually all moved in. Now, I hate moving. I hate moving.
Yeah.
Moving is I'd rather just blow shit up and start all over again, right? And
Yes, yes.
because it's just so much. I'm like, that's a little easier. But this is my favorite part of moving is that I get to reinvent my space.
Yes,
Right. And
yes.
so so we're at that stage now, the part that I love. And the best part is there's no rush. Nobody's rushing to put things together, right? We're just kind
Right.
of just chilling. So yeah, so we're doing well. But yeah, January is definitely is telling me no, no. no, no. You're
So
not
things
hitting me
gotta
hard. I'm gonna hit you hard.
right?
So
So, well, things should slow down. Hopefully February, man. You got a whole month of running like crazy, dude.
no, I still have another festival this weekend, which is February 1st. And then like I said, we are getting ready for that tournament in Las Vegas, March 8th. So I only have like 3 more weeks of training with my guys
Oh
before
man.
before we I have, because I give them a recovery time,
Yeah.
get them ready for the for the not the world champ for this tournament in Las Vegas.
So doing this is Filipino Screamo Sticks, correct? Correct? Am I
Yes,
saying
it
that
is.
right?
It is
Yes.
Filipino martial arts.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you guys have equipment and everything else, right? When you
Yes, we
run
do.
these
Yes,
things.
we do. In fact, I also own a company called Whack Whack, which is like the premier padded stick company. So if anybody wants
Okay.
to purchase some, whackwhack.store,
Oh my gosh,
go
that's
ahead and do
cool, man.
that. Thank
I
you.
like
Thank
that
you.
name, Whack Whack. Oh
Well,
my
okay,
gosh.
so let me give you the history of that name, right? So,
Yeah.
when my business partner and I were trying to come up with a name for the company, I was like, okay, I need something that kind of evoke a little bit of the Filipino martial arts culture and the Filipino culture,
Yeah.
but I wanted something that non-Filipinos can read and automatically understand that
Okay.
it's a padded stick company, right?
Right,
So
right.
I swear to you, Tony, like I heard, like I was inspired by the Lord to Google Filipino mythical creatures.
Okay.
And one of those Filipino mythical creatures is called a wakwak, spelled whack, WAK. And as soon as I
Oh,
saw that, that's the name of the company, right?
oh man, that's
Because
good.
as soon as you read it, you're thinking, oh yeah, they're whacking each other, they're hitting each other with the padded sticks, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But the real meaning is that it's actually the mythical creature of the Philippines called a wakwak. So it's a way for me to kind of honor my culture, honor my Filipino martial arts culture and my Filipino culture, and for non-Filipinos to be able to read it and connect it right away. So
And see what it is. That blows my mind. I really like that, man.
thank you.
That's
Thank you.
cool. I
Thank
did
you.
some Eskrima back in the day, did it for like
Okay.
3 or 4 years, and that was
Nice.
insane, and it was just, back when I was younger, my more flexible elbows and shoulders and all that stuff.
Right,
That's
right.
a legit I mean, my knuckles were already bleeding because we didn't have the gloves. We
Right,
were just some
right.
goofy guys thinking we know what we were doing, but the instructor was saying, "Hit them harder." I'm like, "What do you mean? My
Yeah,
fingers hurt."
yeah.
Oh,
Exactly,
man.
exactly. So yeah,
So
so that's we just got a lot of stuff on our plates, and but
man.
I like staying busy. I like idle hands, right?
Right,
So
right, exactly. Well, because we've run into a lot of stuff already, but I want to get back to some of this. But
sure.
I really want to know, what's your story, man? How would you start? Was it like you were just out there one day watching kung fu movies and was like, I want to do that? How'd you start, man?
Well, so basically, my planet was about to explode, and my
Okay,
parents put me in this pod, right?
is that
And
what happened?
sent me to this planet, and then all of a sudden, no,
You too? You
yeah,
too?
exactly, exactly. I mean, it's like, is everybody's planet exploding? What the hell,
That's right.
dude?
We're all from Krypton. What's
Like,
going
what
on?
the hell, Anyway, no. So basically, I always like, for me, I fell in love with martial arts the moment I saw my first martial arts movie. And for me, if it was Karate Kid, or what these kids call the original Cobra Kai, right?
Ah, yeah.
Right. And and then what really intrigued me about that movie, and I'm sure a lot of people shares this, it wasn't so much the fighting, but what the learning process,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And the way Mr. Miyagi, the wax on, wax off, paint the fence, scrub the floor,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes,
then all of a
yes.
sudden he knows karate.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is my awesome supersize,
So as you
right?
run around, start doing cleaning in the house, so you thought
Well,
you do
yeah,
karate?
exactly. But I wasn't training. I mean, as an FMA teacher, I wish I was as talented as Mr. Miyagi, and I'll make my students do my house chores. And like, no, that's part of training.
Yeah, that's part of training. Go
Yes,
ahead. And while you
wash
do
the
it, cook me some
dishes.
ribs.
Wash the dishes. Exactly. Cook me some ribs. That's part of your training. Don't question me, right?
That's
But
right.
I wish I was that talented. And then
Oh, man.
I remember speaking to my father about this, and I said, "Pops, I like this. I want to learn this." And he goes, "No."
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and the reason for that is because my father was a pacifist. And the reason
Okay.
why he was a pacifist was because during World War II, when the Japanese invaded the Philippines, my father, who was 11 years old at the time, his father, my grandfather, was caught by the Japanese army and burned alive in front of him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So you can only
Wow.
imagine the kind of psychological and emotional trauma that my father experienced as an 11-year-old boy. And in his mind, he was anything associated with martial arts was connected to the Japanese people.
Okay.
Right now, the one
Yeah.
thing that I will say to my father was that he never passed that kind of bigotry and hatred towards anybody, towards me. He kept that
Wow.
to himself,
Oh
right?
man.
But
Wow.
because he saw that extreme level of violence at such a young age, he just didn't want any. He didn't want to be a contributor to any more violence into the world, and let alone
Right.
his son to be a
Right.
contributor into violence in this world. But my dad and I had a deal. I think I was like 10 or 11 at the time. I can't remember the age. But he told me that once I turn 18, not only because I'll be an adult, but he will, if I still want to do this after such a long period of time, then he will support me.
Okay.
Right. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I mean, what am I going to do? He's my dad. He tells me no, then it's no. Right.
Right.
Um, but then unfortunately, he passed away when I was 16.
Ah, man.
And and I miss him every single day.
Yeah.
So I could have started martial arts at 16, but I still decided to wait till I was 18 because
Mhm.
those were my father's wishes.
Wow,
and
that
and
says a lot about your character, man.
well,
Holy cow.
thank you. I like to think so, but like I said, I want to. Those were my father's wishes, and so I thought I'd honor it. But when between 16 and 18 is when I discovered the Philippines had its own martial arts.
Okay.
To be quite honest, before that, I'm like, why doesn't the Philippines have their own martial arts? Like, were we absent when Jesus was handing out martial arts
Yeah,
or
probably
something?
were.
Like, why is it us that we don't have one? And then I
Right.
discovered that we did. Now, keep in mind, I did. There was no Google when this took
Right.
place. There was no
Right.
there was no YouTube or Yelp,
Yeah.
right? So it
Just
was
the
just
yellow and
like.
white phone book. I remember back then.
Exactly. But there was no subcategory of Filipino martial arts in the yellow pages, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you're just pretty much, SOL. And so serendipitously, where my father is buried, across the street from where he's buried, there was a Filipino martial arts school.
Oh man.
Right.
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
wow, this is wow, right? So
Yeah.
I remember when I turned 18, I walked into the door and I said, hey, sir, I really want to learn Filipino martial arts. I will be as dedicated as you need me to be. I'm all in, basically, right?
Before doing one class.
No, before any classes,
Oh
absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then he goes, oh, okay, but you need to be a black belt in Taekwondo first.
What?
Yeah, that's what he told me. Now, again, I've never taken any martial arts any official martial arts classes before, right?
Yeah.
This
Right.
was my first foray into a school, right? So I
Right.
thought that was normal. I thought that that's what it was supposed to be, right?
Right.
But at the same time, as you've seen in my videos, Jesus did not build me to be a high kicker,
Well, brother,
you
that's the
know?
case. It ain't about waist. I can't kick high anyway.
I mean, but what I'm just saying is, it's
I
just
get
not
what you're
my
saying.
strength.
I get
It's
what
not
you're
my
saying, brother.
strength, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and quite honestly, it's not something I wanted to do,
Right.
right? Nothing against Taekwondo, it just wasn't for me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I kind of pretty much given up. And then I remembered one day I kept looking for like a year. And then after a year, I pretty much given up. And then one day I had a family Filipino party, as we just Filipinos do. And I had two friends who were dating at the time, but they're married now. They found my sticks in the closet, right?
Okay.
And they say, hey, can we see this? And I'm like, sure, but be careful. They're not toys, they're weapons.
Yeah.
Man, brother, as soon as they picked up the sticks, you could automatically know that they were practitioners.
They knew what they were doing. They were
They knew.
flowing.
Now, you and I have been in martial arts for a bit now. You
Oh
know
yeah.
that we can spot a fake within 5 seconds
Oh
of the
my
way that,
gosh, in a heartbeat.
right? In
Yeah.
a heartbeat. But you could also spot a legitimate person in half a heartbeat,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right?
Oh
And
yeah.
even though I had no martial arts experience, I've been studying enough about it, like by going to the library and looking up books and stuff, and finding some VHSs here and there. That's how
Yeah.
old I am.
Oh, you are
But
old. You are old like me. Like me.
exactly. um, so and then I'm like, these guys are legit. I'm like, they must have been training for years.
Right.
right? So I'm like, guys, I'm begging you, I'm begging you, I'm begging you, please introduce me to your teacher, please introduce me to your teacher. And they looked at me, he goes, you don't gotta beg, bro, we'll bring you,
He said, "Sure,
right?
come on to
And
class,
I'm
man. What are you
like,
doing?"
get off your knees, that's ridiculous, get up, right? I'm just running the show, I really want to go, right? And so, and then so their next class session, they invited me to their class and they introduced me to their teacher. His name is Guru. He's a master now, but his name
Okay.
is Guru. His name is Guru Henry Kabillion,
Okay.
right? And as soon
Okay.
as I walked in, I said, "Sir, I really want to learn Filipino martial arts. I really want. I'm ready to dedicate my rest of my life to this, right?"
Right.
And I go, "But I don't have any martial arts experience, nor do I have any black belts to my name."
Yeah.
Right. And, like I said, my first experience was that you have to be a black belt in Taekwondo. I
Right.
had no frame of reference. I thought that that was a norm.
Right.
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 And then Guru Henry goes, I don't care.
Okay.
And they go, and I'm like, okay. And then, sir, as you know, as you can tell just by looking at me, I'm not a high kicker. I can't, I'll always work hard, but, that's just not who I am. Right.
Right. Right.
And he goes, I don't care.
Ah,
And I'm
okay.
like, okay, what do you care about? He says, all I care about is if you're going to work hard.
Okay.
I said, you have my guarantee to that. So that was back in 1998. And to this day, he's still my teacher.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's
Like I
cool,
now
man.
I
Yeah.
tell him like, no, you're not getting rid of me now, sir. Right?
He's like,
He
get out,
moved.
please.
He actually a couple of years ago he moved to Seattle. I'm like, I'm still gonna call you though, right? Oh, you ain't getting rid of me.
It
They're
might
like,
fly
you're
in for a
stuck with me.
special training.
Exactly. You're stuck with me. No,
Oh
no.
man.
I mean, Master Henry, and then he introduced me to his teacher, Chief Joe Napial, right? And
Mm.
then the other two instructors, Master John and Master Ariel. They're Master Henry, Master Ariel, Master John are like my big brothers,
Yeah.
right? They've
Yeah.
taken care of me more than I ever expected, more than I ever deserved, and I will always love them. And then Chief Joe, who's like a second father to me, his brother, Chief Sonny Napial, they're like fathers to me. Unfortunately, we also lost Chief Joe back in 2004, which
Mm.
was the most devastating moment of my FMA career.
Wow.
Right. But
How'd he
yeah,
pass?
that he was I from what I understood, he had a heart attack while surfing.
Oh man.
And I can't really get into super details because it's of course their family, right?
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
I truly believed it was more stress induced than
Okay.
health induced issues.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, but other than that, yeah, no, he was an amazing instructor. I mean, both Master Sunny and Master Joe Napial, or Chief Joe and Chief Sunny, they're
Yeah.
brothers. They're
Oh,
amazing
okay.
instructors. Master Henry, Master John, Master Ariel are amazing instructors, and I know everything about how to be an FMA teacher and an FMA practitioner largely because of these gentlemen.
Really? Congratulations
Yeah.
for finding those guys, man. That's awesome.
Oh,
When
well,
it
I
comes
tell
to
them, I tell them also congratulations that you guys found me.
are there okay.
So, I mean, aren't you guys blessed? In fact,
There you
we
go.
have this, I mean, in 2008, I actually moved back to the Philippines,
Did you
right?
really? How long were you there
Yeah,
for?
I
How long
was
did you
there
live there?
for, well, I was hoping to go there live there for minimum of 6 years because
Mm.
I was planning to get my undergrad and my grad at the same, consecutively,
Conjunctively.
right?
Yeah.
But I ended up living there only for 9 months, right?
Okay.
But from the moment I left until about a year after I got back, they stopped teaching,
Hmm.
right? Those
Okay.
three teachers, Henry, John, and Ariel, stopped teaching, and then I remember some of my classmates would reach out to me like, "Why did they stop teaching?" And I remember I had a conversation with the three teachers. I'm like, "Yeah, so and so called and asked us, well, asked me why you guys stopped teaching," and I told them it's understandable why they stopped teaching. And then my teacher's like, "Wait, what do you mean it's understandable that we stopped teaching?" Right? And I go,
Okay.
"Because your number one student moved to the Philippines, right?"
Ah.
And then he's like, "Gosh damn it!" It's like, it's like, I'm
That's
like, at
good.
that point, like, what's the point? He left. He left.
That's
Like,
good.
there's no
That's
point
good.
anymore, right? So,
That's awesome.
so
I love it.
yeah. So But yeah, that we have that kind of relationship. But I can joke around with them. They pick on me. They
Well,
also pick
yeah.
on me, but. I can dish it. I can
Well,
take it
yeah,
and I can dish it too. So
you've been
it's
around
a
them
it's
forever. You built that rapport. That's good
well,
stuff, man.
I hate to say this, but it is what happened.
Yeah.
Losing Chief Joe made us appreciate each other more.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Something
Like,
positive come out of a tragedy. That's just
exactly,
yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. And one of the things that we say was like, there's nobody else now and forever is gonna know what it's like to train with Chief Joe.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's gone forever.
Yeah.
And so the best thing we can do, the best thing I can do, is make sure that his legacy never dies.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that's
That's
where I'm at.
awesome, man. That's
Thank
awesome,
you.
man.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
pretty
you.
awesome. Now, what kind of styles are in the FMA world? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
Jesus
you have
Christ. You got
taekwondo,
you
you
got you,
have
you got
karate.
you got 50 years to talk about this?
I hope so. The Bible says
Uh
120 years. I'm going. I'm just going for
I
all of
know,
them.
right? Well, okay, so I mean, the Philippines, they just discovered more islands, by the way. I'm like, wow, did we
Okay.
not
Were they
count? I mean,
hiding?
no, I guess so. I guess we didn't know how to count them. I'm like, what kind of Asians are we? We don't know how to count the right islands? I don't know, but there's like over 7,000 islands in the Philippines, and not all
Yeesh.
of them are inhabited, but
Right.
with 7,000 islands, that means there's a plethora of a wide spectrum of different languages or dialects and
Yeah.
cultures and fighting styles,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so I can't even tell you how many styles there are of FMA,
Oh
right?
man.
Because I don't know them all,
Okay.
right?
Fair
I
enough.
know, I mean, I know like the big names, like I come from a 12 parts multi-style system. There's Pakiti Tertia, there's Sayo Kali, there's Inayan Eskrima, there's Kali de Leon. I mean, there's just so many.
Well,
Ilustrísimo style, Rapid
yeah.
Arnis, I bet you a lot of my friends who hear this, why did you mention my school? I'm like, I don't know. There's too
Oh
many of you
Lord.
guys.
Right. So
So,
doing the Filipino martial arts is it primarily built around the eskrima, the sticks, or is it
no, no, there
okay?
are some schools that are predominantly blade system,
Okay.
right? And
Okay.
there's some schools that are predominantly stick system. There's some schools that are sword, and there's some schools that are short swords, like or dagger or daggers.
Yeah.
Some schools that specializes in flexible weapons such as the whip,
Yeah.
right? And then there's some schools that are there's another style of Filipino martial arts that is more of a kicking
Okay.
system called Yao Yan,
Okay.
right? And so,
Okay.
but they all fall into that Filipino martial arts umbrella.
Okay. So with you coming from the multi style, is
Yes.
that you have blades, you do edges, you do the whole thing?
Okay, so just to kind of clarify, from what I was told, we have all these systems. Like Pikiti Tertia was founded by Leo Gahe. Bahala now was founded by Leo Giron, and so forth and so forth. It was founded by one grandmaster who created this beautiful complete art system, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But it's all based on one person's interpretation or imagination, just to,
Well,
to
yeah.
say, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's amazing. I'm not saying I'm not taking anything away from that. It's absolutely amazing, right?
Right. Right.
Well, with the 12 pairs multi-style system, it's the reason why it's called 12 pairs. It means 12 pairs. It was
Okay.
founded by 12 grandmasters, and then by the time it get officially recognized, another 12 grandmasters join,
Okay.
right? So if we can create this beautiful system based on one grandmasters, how much more 24 of them?
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Right? And so these guys specialize in a specific thing,
Okay.
like single stick, double stick, espada y daga, espada, panantukan, which is empty hands, dumog, which is ground fighting, latigo, which is flexible weapons. These guys specializes in that specific thing.
Okay.
And so it's like you get a chance to work with PhD level worth of training.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's
Gotcha.
my background.
Okay. That's a legitimate background, man.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
I like to think so.
So how many students do you have at your gym out there?
Last count was 27.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Do they primarily come in for self defense? Or do you guys teach self defense or you teach just strictly the arts?
okay. So I always tell this to my students, right? If what I'm teaching you, right, doesn't help you protect yourself, then you're just wasting your money.
Hmm. Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because this is a fighting art, and as much as we want to compete, as much as we love the culture and learn, how to integrate FMA into our lives. It's
Right.
still a fighting art,
Right.
and it has to have a practical self-defense, self-protection aspect of it. Anything
Gotcha.
less would be lying to them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I always tell my students that everything that I'm teaching you is has a self-protection aspect of it. Now,
Okay.
the only exception to that is competition,
Okay.
right? Now, and I say that lightly because competition, in my perspective, in my point of view, is not life and death,
Right. It's
right?
not.
But as an instructor, how can I duplicate life and death in the studio?
Mm.
There's because the biggest thing that requires it to be life and death is intent.
Right.
Without intent, it's not, you know in the back of your head that there's going to be a line that this person's not going to cross,
Right.
right? So
Right.
there's a sense of holding back. But every martial artist worth their salt will ask this about themselves, about their style one of these days. Does
Okay.
my stuff work? Does this work?
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
Now, because I cannot duplicate life and death situation, what do we do?
Go to tournaments.
Right?
You spar. You train. Yeah.
That's where competition comes in.
Yeah.
Because it's not about whether or not my techniques work so much, because that is a very important aspect of it, but it's more about can I withstand the fight?
Mm. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Can I still do something while somebody's swinging a stick to my face?
Right.
Right? Do I freeze like a deer in the headlights, or does the warrior inside me finally wakes up?
Gotcha.
That's what tournament does. So
Yeah.
even though the style of fighting in a tournament is definitely not life and death style of fighting,
Right.
there's aspects of it, but the intent of the guy in front of you wants to be world champion and you're in his way,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That,
That could feel like life and death then too.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So the intent is there, and that's when you're like, oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I survived.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here. Right. And
Yeah.
as a martial arts instructor, I pray that my students never have to use the techniques I showed them in a real life death situation.
Well, yeah.
Right. Martial arts is like a fire extinguisher. You buy it because you need it, but you hope to never use it.
That's true. I like that
Right.
analogy. I like that
I
analogy.
mean, it's one of those things I'd rather have it and never use it, and need it and don't have it.
That's true. That's
Right.
why I carry
So
weapons.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, I walk around with a blade because it opens letters.
Yeah.
So
Blink, blink,
I'm
blink.
like,
Yeah.
it opens letters. It's a letter
Yeah.
opener. Officer, I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. What's that blood on that open? I went too
That
fast to
was
open
the
my letter.
fly.
Yeah.
That was a fly.
That was a fly.
That was a fly.
Well, see, I
Um,
know out in California, you guys have different rules and stuff. I don't know the laws of California when it comes to guns and stuff like that. I'm in Illinois, and it's crazy
mhm.
in Chicago, but out here, outside of Chicago, it's a little bit more freer and stuff. So I carry concealed carry a lot.
Uh-huh.
So do you guys carry guns out there? Do you carry guns out there, or just blades?
No, I mean, one of the biggest misconception of California, that we are completely anti-gun. No,
Yeah,
we're not.
yeah,
You know,
okay,
we believe in a person has. I mean, sure, this could be a long argument with a lot of people, but this is from my perspective. I'm
yeah,
not a lawyer, but we believe you have a right to defend yourself,
yeah,
right?
yep,
And if I mean, if you want to get your concealed carry, you can. There's avenues for you to be able to do that. But we do ask, that you take some lessons,
right.
because you and I both know that if you don't know how to properly use a gun safely, you'll end up hurting yourself more than anybody else.
No, you could. You may not be wrong. I can't say,
Right?
can't
I
even argue
mean,
with that. I can't even argue with that. You're right.
exactly.
Yeah,
We ask people to get lessons or learn how to drive before we give them a driver's license,
this is true.
right?
This is
And
true.
then if a car could just be as deadly as any firearm or any
Yeah,
blade,
yeah,
right? So we do ask that. I mean, so when people ask me, "Hey, Francis, what's the best knife to carry?" And I'm like, well, one, you should take lessons, and two, I
right.
don't, there's a lot of things that you have to assess of yourself before you could decipher which is the best blade to carry. I
Hmm.
personally don't carry a firearm. I carry a blade, I carry a tactical pen, and I carry a tactical flashlight. That's
Yeah,
my everyday carry, right?
yeah. And I have
Because
the exact same things on mine, but with a gun.
right, I
I
mean
do. I carry it all.
the only reason why I don't have a firearm is because it's so freaking expensive.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
ammo is expensive. And
Man,
if going with the logic of you need to get training, well, you need ammo to train, right?
good
So
point. Good point. It is not a cheap sport, man,
you know
or
what? This is
self-defense.
what I love about the gun community. This is what I love about the firearms community. Like I was invited by Active Self Protection to their Bible Bullets and Bible conference back in 2017, I believe,
Okay.
right? 2016, I think. I can't remember exact year. And everybody was making fun of me because I'm the guy from California,
Yeah,
right?
I
And then
bet you.
oh no, I mean, oh here, I'll share this story with you. We went to Starbucks, right? And everybody's ordering, and then as soon as it was my turn, I looked around and said, "Listen, I don't want to hear any shit from you guys because I'm going to order California style."
Oh
Right?
Lord. Oh Lord. What was it?
Okay, so I'm like, I'll take a venti chai tea latte with 2 pounds of white chocolate, but a whole milk and no water. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's from California." I'm like, "All right." And then, and
You
then
know
I'm
your
like,
coffees.
I know well, it was my tea.
Your
And then,
tea. I'm sorry. Yeah.
yeah. And then and he goes, "You want to try it?" He goes, "Yeah." So he tried it. He goes, "Oh, damn, that's really good." I'm like, I told you." And then he goes, "So what was that order again?" I don't remember.
Ah,
So I don't remember. Go to
ah,
California and find out, right?
go to
So,
California.
right? I'm like,
Oh
nope,
man.
I don't remember. And then after that, they're like, "So Francis, now that you've been through this whole thing, what do you think?" I'm like, "I'm just scared." He goes, "Why? What are
Really?
you scared about?" See, just the exact same reaction. I
Yeah.
said, "Because of how expensive this hobby's gonna be," and everybody was like, "Yeah, you're right, man. This
Yeah.
isn't expensive. You're not
It really
joking
is.
about that." Like nobody argues with me on that. Yeah, that's ammo alone, man. And then you got to get every gun is the right for what situation. You know,
Yep.
my teacher, Master Sonny Napial, told me once that he has a scope that can see 1,000 yards away. Like, how much was that scope? He goes, "I got it on sale." And I'm like, "For how much? $1,200. That's on sale?"
Yep. That was
Yeah.
on sale. That's a good
I'm like,
scope.
"Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the knife. I'm gonna stick with the knife, right? I can't run that fast anyway. I'm gonna stick with a knife." So I'm
No.
like, just it's easier. It's cheaper. Just take my wallet, right? It's
Just take it.
cheaper.
Just take it.
It's just cheap because there's no money in there anyway. So he'll
You
be
know.
like, "Oh, damn, he's poor. Let me put some money in there for him and give it back to him." So,
I feel you,
yeah,
man.
yeah, it's insane. It's insane. But yeah,
You're
no,
not
I mean,
wrong. It is
I,
expensive, man.
and then as far as Blade's concerned, again, I'm not a lawyer, so
Yeah.
nobody come sue me, right?
Right.
But from what I understand, as long as I carry a folder and I put it where it's visible, from where a cop, anybody can see where it is, right?
Yeah. Like
Um,
open carry kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, there are some places that are very like, "Oh my gosh, he's carrying a knife."
Yeah.
Yeah, you have knives. It's called kitchen knives. I don't know what's the difference,
Yeah. When you
right?
come to Chicago with a knife on your belt, they like, oh, that's cute.
Well, I've been
Nice,
to
nice
Chicago.
nail file.
I know exactly. I've been to Chicago. I've carried there, so I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. So you know what
yeah,
I
no,
mean, man.
yeah. I mean, I feel like it's the scene from Crocodile Dundee. That's not a knife.
Knife.
That's a knife. I'm like,
I still
that's a
love that
sword.
scene.
I love that scene. It's like, oh, that's a sword, man. That's not a knife. So,
That's good
so
stuff, man.
that's yeah, exactly. So that's
Ah,
where we're at here in California.
but you know what? I think you hit it on the head too. Everyone has a different perception of California, and people think same thing about here in Chicago. Well, and outside of Chicago, they think all of Illinois is Chicago.
Yeah,
They go to Illinois, and
yeah.
it's like, no, it's safe here. Chicago's safe too if you know where to go and where not to go. But
Exactly. Where to
you know,
go is not in Chicago.
yeah,
And
that's it. There, bingo.
no.
You are not wrong, brother. I always
Last
tell.
I went to Chicago a few Christmases ago. And I was there from Christmas to New Year, to like the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And I got sick.
Oh.
And I had to go to the emergency room. And ironically, where I was staying at, the host family that was hosting me, there was two hospitals that were equal distance,
Hmm.
right? And so they asked me which one do I want to go to. I'm like, well, which options I have? And one of them was a hospital named St. Francis,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And I'm
Yep.
like, well,
Yep.
then I'll go there. They're not going to let
Yeah.
a Francis die at St. Francis,
That's right.
right? So when we got there, all of a sudden they locked down the hospital.
Oh wow.
Because I'm like, oh, okay. And then the doctor was like, yeah, welcome to Chicago.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they weren't
cool.
surprised at all. They weren't even
I'm
moving
like,
differently, were
I was just excited. I'm getting my own Chicago experience. So
they?
I'm like, I'm fine. So, but yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, that,
if
that
they're not
that's
running around, if they're not running around freaking out, you don't run around and freak out.
that's the thing. I can't really run, so I just freak out. So I
Like I
just
always
freak
tell
out.
people, I don't run. I just lean aggressively.
Exactly,
That's it.
exactly, exactly. Or I fall really, really fast. So
There you go. Oh man, that's awesome. And,
thank
we
you.
were talking a little bit
Hmm.
beforehand a while back. When we were starting this, you said you
Right.
lost. Was it how much do you say you lost? Also,
I believe it's 150 pounds.
wow, man,
So
jeez,
thank
that's
you.
good stuff, man.
Oh,
Good
thank you.
stuff.
Yeah, thank you. It's crazy because I weighed so much that I can't go to any regular house scale,
Okay, yeah.
right? Because if I go to a house scale, it'll just say to be continued, right?
Oh Lord,
It's
that's
and
good.
stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Even when you go to the doctor's office, it was just too much, right? So what
Right.
I did was I just based it upon how I'm interacting with the world,
Okay.
right? I think one of the first one was when my pants started falling all the time. And I'm like,
Okay.
I better get smaller pants before I get arrested. Right? I don't
Okay.
think the cop's
Right.
gonna care that I lost a lot of weight.
Right.
Right?
Congratulations. Put
Uh
these handcuffs on.
exactly. Good job, buddy. Good job. Now oh look, I just need one handcuffs for you. Wow, that's amazing. The second thing was it's like my sister drives a Corolla, and
Okay.
before I was so big that I couldn't fit in it
Oh
to
man.
to drive it. Then one day, because this is when I was still teaching out of my house, my sister went with somebody else, and she left her car in the driveway, and I'm like, I gotta teach, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, let me squeeze inside the car and move the car, bro. I had to move the seat up.
What up?
I had to move it closer to the steering wheel because I'm like,
Oh
oh,
man. Hey, I lost some weight.
oh, I'm
Hey.
like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, now I can borrow sister's car.
There
Nice,
you go.
right? So that's another one. The big
Man.
one of the biggest one is that I don't need to use a seatbelt extension when I'm driving my own car or anybody's car.
Praise
That
God,
was
man. That's
that that was
good,
that was a
man.
big thing. And me and this biggest one was this last July. I because Oh, let me give you a little backstory. Before I started losing the weight, I was actually coming back from Chicago, and I had to use the bathroom really bad,
Mm.
and I mean, I couldn't fit in the bathroom,
Oh wow.
right? And I had to ask the flight attendant to stand in front of the door, like the way, so the people can't look inside,
Because you had to
right?
keep the door open, cracked
I had
open.
to keep because I couldn't fit. I
Yeah.
couldn't fit, right? And
Yeah.
so I was so ashamed. I was so embarrassed. I actually never flew again after
Mm.
that, right?
Man. Yeah.
And but then when I started losing the weight, I'm like, okay, and I had to travel some. I had to travel to Portland, Oregon, right? And I told myself, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom right before we board the plane, and then as soon as we land, I'm gonna go straight to the bathroom, right?
Right.
But I'm like, I've lost some weight, so I went to the bathroom. Oh my God! Not only could I close the door, I could turn
Oh
in the
man, good
bathroom, right?
good
I'm like,
stuff.
what? So then I was because like I was scared, like because flying to Chicago is like a 5-hour flight.
Yeah.
Flying to the Philippines is a 16-hour flight. I definitely can't hold it for 16 hours.
It's no
I don't know
joke.
anybody who can, right?
Right?
Bro,
Holy cow.
again, being able to use the bathroom, it was more comfortable in the bathroom than in my seat, right? I'm like,
Man.
so yeah,
So
so
your
me
world just
losing,
flipped upside down and
well,
changed for the better, man.
let me just put it this way: the world opened up to me again.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
fly internationally again. I can fly locally again. I can travel again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thank God for that. I thank God for my family, and
Oh yeah.
and I thank God for all my students and all my friends that supported me, that believed in me. But yes, I've lost. I think I've lost a minimum of 150 pounds, probably more, and I'm still losing weight. Right, I'm
Man.
disappearing right before people's eyes.
Right. Where'd he
Right,
go?
where'd he
Where's
go? He disappeared. He turned sideways. He disappeared. He's two
hide behind
dimensional
that
now.
pole over there?
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, so I did lose that much weight, and I'm still going. So. That's
Praise God.
time.
That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
So, what did you do to lose weight? Was it just your diet, your activity, special diet? What did you do?
Okay, so just full disclosure.
Mm,
Back in 2006, I did get the gastric bypass surgery,
yeah.
right? And I actually was featured on National Geographic for that, right?
Really?
Yes, I was.
Oh
Um,
man.
but then I lost some weight, but then I gained it all back. So it didn't work
Okay.
for me. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then somebody was suggesting, why don't you try like the keto diet,
Yeah.
right? And now the hardest thing for Filipinos is rice, right? And
Giving up the rice.
what rice is carbs upon carbs upon carbs, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's why a lot of Filipinos suffer from diabetes, type 2 diabetes because of
Oh
that.
really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, so now as Filipino, I can't, it's part of my DNA to eat rice,
Gotcha.
right? It is part of my
Gotcha.
DNA. So how do I do keto, right? Or protein-based diet and still satisfy my rice cravings,
Right.
right? So what I decided to do was I cut out 90% of my rice intake.
Okay.
So just enough to kind of like trick my brain. Oh, you got your rice. Okay, great. You're good. Right?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, and I definitely wanted a diet that would allow me to go to Korean barbecue, right? Because I'm like,
Yeah, buddy.
that's that. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Right.
buddy.
So now when I go to Korean barbecues, before I started losing weight, I would have like 6 bowls of rice,
Right.
right? Now I barely finish one
Okay.
because I've cut out 90% of my rice intake. I'm eating a lot more protein. So I was basically shedding all the weight. The second thing I did was intermittent fasting,
Okay. Yeah,
right?
that's what
So I
I
don't,
do now. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't start eating till 12 o'clock,
Okay.
right? Well, that's
Yeah.
great because I don't wake up till about 10 o'clock,
So
right?
that's
So,
good.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm only really waiting 2 hours, right?
Right.
So that was another one, right? And then the
Yeah.
third the third thing I did, and I feel so stupid that I didn't listen until now, was to get 8 hours sleep,
Yeah. Everyone says
right?
that, but how that's hard to do sometimes, you know,
Well,
to.
I don't disagree with you, but you
Yeah.
have to. I mean, because I had to understand that converting my fat into usable energy also takes energy,
Right. Right.
right? So if you're awake and it's trying to convert that, you're getting hungry because it needs fuel to convert the fat back to fuel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
the best time for your body to convert fat into fuel is while you're asleep, where your lowest activity,
Mm. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So and it takes time for your body to do that as well. So that's where the 8 hours of sleep comes in. So as a martial arts instructor, we teach at night. So I'm not going to bed till 2 in the morning. That's why I wake up at 10 in the morning
Okay. So you get your
because
8 hours.
I get my 8 hours exactly.
Now, you're
So
sleeping all the way through the night for those 8? Because I tell you, I'm up all the time. Not when I'm at the bathroom, but I wake up, I go back to sleep. You know, 8 hours
well,
straight would be a
I mean, I'm
miracle.
not a doctor, but you might want to consider getting a sleep study.
Oh, I
Um,
did. I did the sleep study and everything. They said, well, you must have, was that sleep apnea?
sleep.
Because
I
I
was
wake up.
diagnosed.
Yeah,
I
they
was
said, nope, don't
diagnosed with
have it.
sleep apnea back in 2014.
Yeah.
I actually had to go to the emergency room because I had a blood ox of 82.
Woof.
Right,
Wow.
so my blood was sepsis. Like I was
Yeah.
killing myself at that point. Right.
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
I got the sleep study and they finally calibrated my BiPAP machine to the right, to my settings, right? I
Right.
remember going to bed like around 8 o'clock. And then I woke up at 6 and I'm like, okay. And then I went to the bathroom and I went downstairs to start my day. My whole family was awake. I'm
Oh,
like, why is
man.
everybody awake so early? And like, no, man, it's 6 p.m.
What?
What?
Oh, man.
You mean I
No one
slept
checked on
20?
you?
Well, no, they said they tried. They tried to wake me, but I was knocked out.
Oh, man.
I slept for 22 hours straight, bro.
Holy cow.
I
Did you
mean,
wake
that's
up
not like what
refreshed?
I just woke up. You know how like 6 o'clock looks like 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. kind of look the
Yeah.
same out the
Yeah.
outside, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. And I remember like I had to pee like a racehorse, right?
Man.
I'm like, and then I didn't realize I was that sleep deprived.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
was that sleep deprived, and then my energy has doubled because of that,
Oh,
right? Just
man.
sleeping 8 hours. And so now when I'm hitting when head hits the pillow, I'm exhausted, but it's the good kind of exhausted. Like you feel accomplished,
Okay.
right? So I mean, I'll wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and sometimes it takes me about an hour to go back to sleep,
Yeah.
right? But I have my machine on, so that means the air is still pumping into my lungs, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually I'll go back to sleep. And the best part is I don't have to teach till 6 o'clock at night. So if I wake up at 11, it's not the end of the world.
Exactly. Okay.
If I wake up at
Yeah.
noon, it's not the end of the world. So, uh,
Exactly.
yeah,
Okay.
so I'm okay with that. But yeah, that was those combination of those three was what I would believe is the biggest contributor to my weight loss.
Okay. So the biggest thing is that the sleep and especially the diet. Do you exercise? I know with your training. I mean, outside of your training and stuff, because you guys work out hard doing the Filipino fighting and all that.
Yeah, well, the teaching and the training is definitely my main source of exercise. I started one of the issues is because I lost so much weight, I need to start physical therapy.
Okay.
So in my physical therapy classes, we do a little bit of a workout. So I'm still kind of
Okay.
doing low impact type of thing because now everything hurts because like there's less padding,
Yeah.
right?
Now you feel everything. Yeah.
I'm like,
The
I
hits and
didn't
the kicks.
realize that losing weight was this painful, right? Like, God damn it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's like, and I get cold a lot faster
Yeah.
because there's
I
less
know you will. That's
insulation.
right.
Gosh damn it. So
He's like,
like,
give me some barbecue chips. I'm going
I'm
back
like,
in. Forget
I'm
it's too
like,
cold.
oh my goodness. But the great thing about the intermittent fasting is that I can practically eat anything I want in my eating
Yeah,
time.
in that window.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it's pretty interesting, right?
That's
It's
cool,
pretty,
man.
I know, exactly. So a lot of
Intermittent fast is huge.
a lot of my family was like, how did he lose so much weight, right? How did he lose so much weight? I'm like, I thought I stopped eating rice and like, oh really? And then that's when I'm like, you can't do that, right? Oh, there you go.
They're like, forget
So
it, I can't do that.
I'm like, if
But
I
you know
can do it,
that
so can you. Right. I
well,
tell 'em,
that's true though, because usually with your family, if you're close, if they're not in the weight loss try to do some weight loss, it's harder for you. But if you're doing it together, it's easier, I think. You
well,
know?
when I had that surgery, it was around December when I had the surgery because I could take some time off from work. It was a slow time from work and
Yeah.
everything. So my bosses were like, "Yeah, go take some time off." But it was also, food season. It's the
Yeah.
holidays, right?
Yeah.
And because my stomach was still healing, I wasn't ready to eat like hard, solid foods. I
Yeah.
remembered my family eating like, you know, Filipino barbecue skewers, and I'm like staring at them, and I'm like, I hate you so much. Can I just smell it? Can I just smell it?
Can I
Right?
just smell
So
it?
yeah, I mean, let me just share this real quick, right?
Yeah.
When you're an alcoholic, they always tell you stay away from people who drink. If
Mhm.
you're a drug
Yeah.
addict, they tell you stay away from people who do drugs.
Right.
How can I stay away from people who eat?
That's true. That's what everybody does.
Right?
Everyone eats, right?
If you're an
Right?
alcoholic, they tell you stop drinking. If you're a
Yeah.
drug addict, they stop taking drugs.
Yeah.
How can I not eat?
True. That's
So I'm
true.
not, everybody has their own challenges, right? And then it's also not fair to ask your family who are living a healthier lifestyle to comfort because I can't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a struggle. So I had to find
Yeah.
a combination of things that worked for me, and
Right.
this is what's working for me.
That's good, man. Because one size doesn't fit all. You know what I mean?
No,
When
it
it comes to
definitely doesn't.
nutrition and diet and everything.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
tried all those clothes, and I'm like, yeah, it does not fit at
He
all.
said none of them. I
None of
get it,
them. None
man.
of them. I mean, okay, so I'll share the story with you. In 2008, I went to this Wake Off World Championship in Cebu, Philippines,
Mhm.
and the Supreme Grandmaster Diony Cañete was giving away free shirts. I don't know, from Doce Pares. They were giving away free shirts for all the people who volunteered, and I was one of them.
Yeah.
And now, Philippine sizes are not American sizes.
Yeah, they're
Like
small, aren't they?
their extra large is our medium,
Yeah.
right?
Very
Okay.
small. Yeah.
So, y- when somebody gives you a shirt, there's an expectation that they want to see you wear it,
Right.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
I had to make it very clear that I am very grateful for the gift, but I hope that they're not offended that I never wear the shirt,
Right.
right? Because so he handed me a Doce Pares shirt, and I said, Grandmaster, I want you to know I will cherish this shirt. This means a lot to me, but please do not be offended if I never wear it. And he goes,
What
why
do you say?
not? Well, because if I put this on, it's not going to say Doce Pares. It's going to say Do. full stiff tires, right? And then he's like, "What? Who gave you a small?" Right? And they gave me a Philippine small, right? I'm
What?
like, bro, I'm like, that's not even gonna fit my kid, right? And then, but then the lovely assistants, these young girls, were like, "Well, what size can we give him?" And I'm like, I ain't angry. I'm not angry with you. That's
Right?
a very logical
Yeah.
quandary, that you might have, right? Problem that you have. But yeah, so I told, and then I remembered a friend of mine, Radhika, who was the India's country director,
Mhm.
and they had this beautiful team shirts, which is tradition where we swap team country shirts, right? And
Right.
she had one that it was bright red with gold foil lettering on it that says Team India, right?
Mhm.
And I thought it was gorgeous, right? And I
Yeah.
am Radhika, can I have one of can we trade one? She said, yeah, of course, Francis. And I had to explain to her, I'm like, again, Radhika, please do not be offended if you never see me wear this shirt. He's like, why not? Because if I wear this, it's not gonna say Team India. Okay, it's gonna say Team Indianapolis, right?
Oh
And then
my
it's like
god.
because it's like well, I'm like Radhika, you're not gonna have my size. It's okay. I will still cherish, and I'm actually looking at it right now. I still have that shirt because
That's
I loved
awesome.
it. I loved it, right? So
That is good stuff. I love your attitude about it too, man. Because a lot of people get offended about their weight, but you live in reality, man. I love that
I mean,
attitude, man.
do when people make these comments, do I get offended sometimes? Of course I do. I'm human,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's like when people tell me that like, hey, you should really cut back on eating, and I'm like, oh, that's the answer. Oh my gosh, I didn't. Oh,
I didn't
forgive
know.
me, I didn't know, right? And I've had literally random people come up to me and start lecturing me on
Yeah.
how to lose weight,
Yeah.
right? Because he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, because bro, this I lost 10 pounds. I'm like, I pooped 10 pounds, right? Don't. So like I said, like
Yeah.
I don't get easily offended, but when people are just plain mean,
Yeah.
just for the sake of being mean, I just don't condone it,
Yeah. I
right?
get it.
And
Well,
so,
people
but
gonna be
I
ignorant. People
try.
gonna be ignorant. They're gonna do their
Well,
thing. Let them do
absolutely.
it.
I try to be positive about it. Like I said, when I'm like, I'll be the first one to make fun of me that I'm a big person,
Yeah.
right? So I always tell people like I'm the hardest person to kidnap, right?
It's true.
Honestly, if one person tries to kidnap me and carries me from wherever I was to his hideout, dude, that's not a ransom, that's a salary. You earned it.
You earned it,
Right?
brother.
You carried him by yourself? Nah, bro. That's your money. You earned that. You earned that.
Good
Here's a
point.
little extra. So I'm
Good
totally
point,
cool with
man.
it. Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. And with you're because the video you put out, and I know
Right.
in the intro I called you the original tappy tappy because
Yeah.
what that technique you were talking about on there, and that video got almost 10 million, I think now, if I was looking at numbers correctly, collectively out
Okay.
there. It's
Yeah.
insane the numbers.
Right.
And and you were doing a technique on there. What is the tappy tappy though? I mean, I want to know the name, 'cause it sounds like, oh, just tapping a guy. But I'm
Right.
like, what's the guy doing?
So okay. So tappy tappy is not something I invented. A lot of people are calling me Chief Tappy Tappy now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, he's the guy that invented." No, I did not invent the tappy tappy. So, to my other FMA brothers and sisters out there, I do not claim the tappy tappy. Right? I do not
Okay.
own it. I did not invent it. I wasn't even in the meeting when you guys created the name for it. Right? I do
Okay.
not own it. I cannot control what other people call me. Right? I do
That's
not
right.
own it. The tappy tappy is our version of if you were to look at boxing,
Mhm.
right? When a person signs up for boxing and they're training with their trainer with the focus mitts, the trainer will hold the mitts in place,
Right.
right? Because they're learning. They don't know how to move yet. They don't know how to move, hit a moving target yet, right?
Right.
So and then eventually you see the trainer tapping, right?
Okay. Yeah.
When the boxer is punching, they start tapping,
Right.
right? That's to increase your sensitivity of your opponent or your training partner's energy, right? Because you can
Gotcha.
sense by how they move what they're gonna do next,
Right.
right? So the tappy tappy is the Filipino version, or what we call the sticky hands, right?
Okay.
If
Yep.
we were to look at Wing Chun, right?
Yep.
They do tappy tappy. They just call it differently, right? Um, that's what the tappy tappy is. It is us learning how to block, counter, and still defend ourselves at the same time,
Okay.
right? I just released a video yesterday. Oh no, excuse me, 2 days ago about the tappy tappy incorporating the double sticks, and then
Okay.
I'm releasing a video today, later today, about it's the same thread, the double stick tappy tappy, but this time using it as a countering, block, parry, and countering, and then using
Right.
a knife, and then using empty hands as well as that. That's where that tappy tappy is from. It is a tool, it's a training tool that many, if not all, Filipino martial arts systems and a lot of other martial arts system uses as part of their training regimen.
Okay. Nice. Fair enough. I like it, man. I like it, man. Because when you put that video out, we shared it out here. That thing, it went crazy. And it
Yeah.
got a lot of harshness on it, because
Yes,
the
it did.
internet is cruel, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you have to have thick skin to deal with the internet, and you saw the comments on there, and I've
Yes, I
seen them.
did.
I comment on, laughed at them too, man, and
Right.
all that. Man, how did that bother you a lot, or is it just because people just don't know? They don't know
Well,
from
I
a
mean,
like as to who you really are and
so
how legit you
at
are.
the end of the video, I did the da 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 and Hadouken, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Now, 100%. If I could throw a fireball, right?
yeah,
If I could throw, I mean, I don't think people are gonna be making fun of me if I
yeah,
could really throw a fireball,
right.
right? I think it'd be like I would get lined outside the door of my studio.
Teach me the
Wait, that's
fireball, the
real?
Hadouken.
That's real? That's real? Hold on, wait, that's real? Okay, but it's nothing more but a pop reference culture,
Yeah,
pop culture reference, right?
yeah,
Because everybody who does martial arts love martial arts video games,
yeah.
and
That's
there's
true.
nothing more iconic martial arts video game than Street Fighter,
Yes, yes,
right? And
yeah.
and then the reason why it resonated with people is exactly the reason why the Hadouken resonated with everybody, because of that connection to to that famous video game,
And
right?
and knowing your personality now, you have a
Yeah,
very light, funny personality. That's I see why you
exactly.
did that, and I was like, oh, I get it now.
And then I
That's
remember, I don't
classic,
know if it was your share or somebody else's share. This really pissed me off. I mean, I'm sorry. This really
man.
pissed me off. This guy comedy goes, I can't believe he just did a Mortal Kombat move.
It's like, dude, that's not Mortal Kombat.
Bro, I mean, if you're going to insult me, at least insult me correctly. I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
it's like, gosh damn it. I'm like, somebody finish him. I mean, it's like, what? That's the part that bothered me the most. He
Out
said
of
the
all those comments, that got you.
Oh, come on, bro. At least, I mean, if you're gonna insult me, at least insult me correctly. You
Right,
know,
right.
bro. I mean,
That's
come
like comparing
on,
Star
man.
Wars and Star Trek.
I
It's
know.
like, come on, guys.
I mean, it's just like what? I remember, going. There was, I think it was the first of the prequel, where the one where the story of Anakin Skywalker, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And there was a long line, and I stood in line, and that movie, Made in Manhattan with Jennifer Lopez, was also playing that
yeah,
weekend. And
yeah.
I remember I got in this line. I said, "Is this the movie for Made in Manhattan?" And they all looked at me. I'm like, "Calm down. It was a joke."
They're all like, what?
I'm like, "I thought you would have a sense of humor because of what you're wearing."
Right. And they do not, man.
I
They are
know,
stone cold, bro. They have been into those conventions. I love going. I
bro.
think they're cool, but
Bro,
my gosh, they're strict.
I've been trying to incorporate lightsaber competition into FMA competition,
Oh man.
and I'm like, there's this one aspect where if you hit too hard, they deduct a point from you.
What?
Yeah,
Really? Is it
yeah.
because you don't have control? Is that what you're losing it for?
No, they just said you don't have to hit that hard. What?
Okay.
What? Right? I'm like,
Okay.
what? Okay, I guess. So I mean, I'm not gonna dig deep into that, but that was
Yeah,
weird. That was
that's
weird.
very
But yeah,
weird.
no, they don't have a sense of humor. They definitely don't. And but it is what it is. So,
It is what it is,
but
man. I'm
yeah, but
telling you.
as far as that video is concerned, I mean, you and I both know that we post a video out there. Is it gonna go viral? Is it not? Who knows?
Right.
who knows, right? I mean, people tell me, oh, there's a formula to go viral. Okay, I'm sure there is. I don't know it,
I don't know it
right?
either. I keep
I
playing
don't know it
around.
either because, but when he goes out there, he goes out there,
Yeah.
right? It
I was
goes out there.
surprised by it. I really was surprised at that video. And I look at my analytics on there and I'm trying to figure that stuff. I could literally, I don't know how to do all this stuff, but I'm learning as I go. And that video was just rocking. It's still going.
It's
I'm
still
still getting
going.
comments. I'm still replying to comments on there. It
I,
is going
I'm
crazy.
people are like sharing links with me, right? And they're
Yes.
like, "Oh my gosh, you're so famous." I'm like, "Well, first of all, I was already famous. You just didn't know about it." And 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 secondly, read the comments, and then they're like, "Wait." I'm like, "Yeah, now don't
Yeah.
reply. Don't get angry. It's
Don't get
okay.
angry. It's
Don't
just,
it,
people don't
it
know. They're being funny. Yeah.
it's the keyboard warriors, right?
Yep.
It's the
Yep.
internet trolls. It's when you put yourself out there, that's the cost of doing business. So
Exactly. You
yeah,
have to have a thick skin, and brother, you do. You have a
right.
great attitude, a personality.
Thank you.
I love your personality. You joke about yourself, and I think that makes it, it diffuses everybody. It just takes the
Well, I
sting
mean,
out of it. It
life's
takes
too
their weapons
short.
away. Yeah,
Well,
brother.
life's too short. I mean, it's like why? Like what?
Yeah,
Now what I do enjoy about that video going as popular as it did, right? Just like
yeah.
you, a lot of people actually reach out to me and say, "Can you please explain what that means?"
Good,
Right? And
good,
then,
good.
and to me, I'm like, be more than happy to.
Yeah,
Obvious. I'm here to educate. I'm here to share,
yeah,
right? And then I've had a lot of people tell me, you know what? I follow you as a joke, but man, you're legit.
yeah. That's what I said. After I followed you for a while, after I just put it up, didn't know anything about it. I thought it was funny and doing all this
Right.
stuff, and everybody's hitting it. And I'm like looking at this thing. So who is this guy? Let me start looking. I
Right.
start doing your stuff, and I'm like, huh, the guy's legit. He knows his
Right.
stuff.
I
Okay,
know. And
I
then
like it.
there's one person that actually said, like, I followed you as a joke, but I cannot find flaws in your logic.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I know it's hard for people to understand. I get it. It's hard for people to understand that somebody can be that logical, and that proficient in martial arts and be handsome at the same time.
No, that's
Right.
amazing.
I mean,
That's
I
amazing.
know I'm a triple threat, right? But what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
It's the burden I carry,
And you
right?
carry it well.
I carry it well, exactly, with my bowls of rice,
That's right,
right?
brother. But
And
people are gonna be cruel, like you said. People are gonna be cruel, and you just laugh at yourself. Hey, it diffuses them, it takes it away from them, and you've done so well with that, man. I'm so
well,
glad you got to come on with us.
some people would tell me like, I challenge you to a fight,
Yeah, I've
right?
seen some of those. I'm like, oh God,
And
here
then
we
my
go.
response has always been the same. I'm like, I never said I was unbeatable. I never said I was
Yeah,
undefeated. I'm never. You could probably kick my ass, right?
yeah.
But I'm gonna take a piece of you with me.
There you go. You're gonna
You're gonna
win
be
ugly, as I call it. You win ugly.
exactly.
A little. I'm sorry.
You're gonna walk like a pimp the rest of your life, right?
There you go.
So, I mean, if you want to, I'm right here.
There you
I mean,
go.
I've had my ass kicked before. I'm still here,
Right.
right?
But see, that's what. Let's get on that for a minute. That
Sure,
is the problem. I'm gonna get on society. I'm gonna get on my soapbox.
sure.
That's the problem with our society now. With these people, they get butt hurt. They get so offended by everything because they've never had their ass kicked. Like when growing up, you got your ass kicked and you were friends the next day,
Ah, hell
right?
yeah,
You didn't lose any life over it.
dude.
These,
When I first moved to this country in 1987, that's how old I was, right?
yeah,
That's how old I am. Not was. I'm still old, right?
still old. You're old man.
When I in third grade, I got jumped practically every day of after school.
Yeah,
Right? I remember one time I was surrounded by 8 kids ready to kick my ass, and my mom ran across campus with swinging an umbrella, beating up those kids.
that's like
Right?
any mother would, man.
Yeah, and then I got yelled at for not fighting back.
Yeah,
Right? I'm like,
yep,
there was 8 of them. Right?
yeah,
Anyway, so and
yeah.
then fourth grade, the biggest bully of them all was seated right next to me.
Really.
And I just looked him dead in the eye. I said, "Hey, man, is it gonna be like last year?" He's like, "No, I got tired of punching you." He's like, "You're still here, right?"
Like, okay.
He became my elementary school best friend.
That's awesome, man. I love
He
that. That's
became
cool.
my elementary school best friend, and I told him like, "Yeah, that's how I get you. Your hand hurts from punching my face too much, right?"
That's how
And
you won them over.
he's like, "You know what? Fuck, you're funny." right? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I can't. I'm like, and then because he became my best friend and he was the biggest bully, right?
Right.
Nobody else bullied me after that.
Because they knew that guy would step in and put it hurting on them.
Exactly, but I never even needed because I would just make fun of them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then it just and then people laughed and that was the end of it, right?
Man.
And if you notice, a lot of people who are of size has
Mhm.
that defense mechanism of being really funny.
Oh yeah, humor. That's right.
Exactly,
Humor
because
diffuses a
you
lot,
can't
man.
punch the guy that's making you laugh,
That's right.
right?
That's
So
right.
yeah, so no, that's the thing. I completely agree with you that people get easily butthurt,
Yeah.
but because they've never gotten their ass handed to them yet,
Exactly. And the
right?
parents
Now,
okay, go ahead.
no, I mean, there is some things that bother me online where people
Yeah.
post like, okay, click like if you've ever ridden in the back of a pickup truck and survived.
What?
Yeah. And I'm
What?
like, well, how can the people who didn't survive click like? Like, how
What?
can they comment? They
Oh
didn't
my gosh.
survive. So,
Right.
yes, you're getting 100% response of people that survived because you can't ask the people that didn't survive because they didn't survive. I mean, so uh,
A
just come
lot of
on.
people don't catch it.
I mean, people, come on, man. Let's just be reasonable here, So,
Oh man, brother, you're awesome, man. I'm
oh,
telling you, I am
thank you.
so glad I got to know you. So glad you
Me
got to
too,
come
me
on with
too.
us, man.
I
This
mean,
has
I'm not.
been
I mean, when we
awesome,
had
man.
our initial conversation, I was a little bit, little bit cautious
Oh yeah,
because the video did blow up in your channel, and then there was a lot of negative comments, and I'm like, am I being set up to be made fun of? I'm like,
I
oh,
don't blame you, man.
well, and so, but I've been enjoying this, so thank you very much, and thank you for
No.
being so patient with my schedule.
Hey
Just
man, you're a busy man out there, man. I did not expect you just be sitting around. You're out there doing stuff, man.
I
You
mean,
got a
it's
life,
like,
brother.
and then LA was on fire. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh Jesus.
right.
So it's like, man,
Oof.
can we not deal with this right now? And I also preach at a church once in a while, so
Oh
it's
man. Hey, good stuff, man.
yeah. So I actually had to give a sermon on January 8th as
What
well.
is it
Oh
going to
no,
be about?
I did. I did
Oh,
it.
you did. What
Right,
was it?
yeah.
I'm thinking February 8th, but you said
No,
January.
no. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was basically talking about how, like, like seeing God in things, right?
Okay.
And it was when I wrote that sermon, it had nothing to, the fires didn't happen yet, but then when the fires happened, I was able to adjust it a little bit to see
Okay.
that. So one of the things that people has been saying, and what a lot of people who are quote unquote members of the clergy would say, the reason why LA is on fire is because it's a godless city,
Yeah,
right?
no. Yeah.
And I'm like, sometimes bad things just happen. But
Simple
is
as
it
that.
real? Exactly. But is it really godless when the Los Angelinos gather together to help their neighbors,
That's right. It's
to
not.
secure
It's
food,
not.
lodging, clothing? I mean, people driving in U-Haul trucks full of stuff to give away are being turned away because there's just no more room,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Then if we review the scripture, it says the two greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Self. That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So how
Yeah.
can you say Los Angeles is the godless city
Yeah.
when they're loving their neighbor more than anybody else right now?
Especially when your neighbor's going through times and you step in to help.
Exactly. I
That's
mean,
what
what's
it's
that
about,
saying?
man.
Like when your neighbor's house on fire, you don't negotiate the cost of the hose,
Right. Oh man. But I
right?
love those
You just help.
yeah, you
Right?
just
So,
help,
I
man.
mean, is California perfect? Absolutely not. But where is? Right? But
Well,
what I saw was people helping people,
yeah,
selfless people helping each other, and people from other countries and other states running over to help us.
yeah,
That I mean,
yeah.
this is not a godless city. This is not a godless state, and this is definitely not a godless country.
No, not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
Exactly. I mean,
And brother,
are there aspects of it that, yeah,
well, of
I'd
course.
question.
Of course.
But no, when I see people helping other people, then it's still here. It's
Yeah.
still here.
Yeah, so you're a minister. I'm a certified minister also, and
Oh, really? Okay.
ordained and everything else. So I know
Nice.
the word with you,
Nice.
and I look at the same thing you look at, man.
Yeah.
People are inherently good, and I
Yes.
think we're all collective together. But we allow situations or little things, and political things,
Of
which little
course.
things divide us.
Of
And then
course. Of
once you get
course.
outside of that arena, and tragedy happens, like it happened out there, we come together. We always
Absolutely.
come together.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember 9/11. I remember the Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
And I was here during the Northridge earthquake. Well, I
Oh
was
man.
here during the LA riots, right? So,
Yeah. You
you
saw it
know,
all out there.
pretty much, right? So, but what I also saw was how people got together. And
Yes.
and and I'm like, and then especially during the pandemic. That's why I really started releasing videos because I thought, well, you know what? People are going to be bored. Maybe they can do some FMA while they're at home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when I posted these videos, I said to everybody, I posted a video, said, these videos are absolutely free for everybody. I'm
Yeah.
not going to charge you. I'm not even going to ask for your contact information, right?
Oh, that's
Use them
good,
as
man.
you want, right? I mean,
Yeah.
because the only way we're going to get through this is together,
That's right.
right? So that's where I was. That's where I was.
Man,
So
I love it. I'm telling you, man. I love it. I love it. I can't wait till everyone gets to know you, get to hear
oh,
you,
thank
get to
you.
see who you
Thank
are,
you
man.
very much.
You have a great heart, man. You have a great
Thank
mind. You have a
you.
great personality. I
Thank
love it
you.
all,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you very much.
Well, brother, before we get you out of here, man, like I
Sure.
always say, man, tell everybody all your contact information, so they can reach out to you. All your
Sure.
social media, the whole thing.
So, okay, so thank you, everybody. My name is Chief Francis Serrano. I am the Chief Instructor and owner of Filipino Martial Arts School. You can find us on our website at www.fmaschool.com. You can find me on social media under Big Boy Escrimador or FMA School. And then my other company, where we sell the premier padded stick companies and padded edge tools. You can find us at Whack Whack. That's WAK dot store. And yeah, please go ahead and purchase, any of the products. They'll be supporting not only my company, but this guy, Big Boy Streamador.
That's awesome. Awesome, man. Good stuff, brother. Well, brother,
Thank you
we
so
will
much.
have to have you when your next video goes 10 million, we got to get you on again, brother.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, brother, for making this really painless and actually really fun. So I
Awesome,
appreciate you,
man. I'm glad you
brother.
had hey, I appreciate you more than you know, brother. So we'll talk soon. You take care of yourself. And guys, that's the man, the myth, the living legend himself. Make sure you reach out to him. All right, brother. You take care of yourself. We'll talk soon.
Take care, buddy. Bye bye.
All right, take care of yourself. Bye bye.
Oh, man.